Here we have 2019's paper of History Unit 2. So the economic concept of mercantilism, this has repeated, so C would be the answer here. 2. Which of the following factors was a cause of the American War of Independence? Desire for expansion, desire for religious freedom, lack of American industries, lack of representation. Right? So we have that. After the American Revolution, loyalists mainly relocated to Canada. Alright. 4. Which of the following statements regarding the American Revolution is true? So we have the opposition of American independence there. Right? So the most important consequence of the Boston Tea Party would be the coercive acts. 6. Which of the following events was a result of European enlightenment, the development of the encyclopedia? Right? Which of the following was not an effect of the Enlightenment on European society? Increase which ones? 8. The main political idea of the European Enlightenment was absolute power should not be given to the king, clergy should not control, all people should be granted religious freedom, or dissenting religious groups. Okay, so I think one of the main political ideas would be anti-absolutism. Alright, 9. Which of the following factors contributed to the outbreak of the French Revolution? So we're looking at the frustration of the bourgeoisie. 10. The French Revolution was caused by the exclusion. So we're looking at all of these. Which of the following factors contributed to British Industrial Revolution? So we're looking at the increased labor force of men, enslaved Africans would boost in British Industrial Revolution. Alright, so we're looking at this already. So the bankruptcy would have been caused by the involvement in the American War of Independence. The influence of Enlightenment on the French Revolution was mainly revealed by the Declaration of Rights of Man. The main benefit of the factory system to the British consumer was that manufactured goods became cheaper for the consumer. Alright, so the concept of manifest destiny was best explained by the territorial sovereignty should be protected. This is Monroe. That's Monroe doctrine there. But we have B here. Remember the Alamo. Remember Goliad. Right? This was the capture of the Mexican army by the Texans. Right? The major cause of the Russian Revolution was the sharp economic differences between Russian social classes, defeat of Germany, marriage of Tsar. It should be a T. Why did they write it with C? That's so weird. I think it would be this. Well, one of the cause economic differences between social classes, appeal of Marxism to the Russian clergy and nobility. Ooh. Okay. Alright, so we have that there. 18. Which of the following slogans expressed the ideals of the Bolshevik Revolution after 1719, right? Would be peace, bread, land. The Russian peasants supported the Bolsheviks in 1917 revolution mainly because the Bolsheviks promised to, let me see, collective funds for the peasants, redistribute land, maintain agricultural price and support system. Price support system. I think it would be this. So we're mainly talking about food for the people. Remember, there was a huge famine wiping through Russia at this time. The political reorganization of the Russian Federation of Socialist Republics there. Alright? So which of the following factors contributed to the development of the Nazi ideology? Italian fascism, the fear of socialism and communism, and German nationalist frustrations after the World War I. The economic factor that contributed to the outbreak of World War I was the economic crisis in the United States. Would affect the world. Nazism is best explained as an anti-democratic nationalist. No, it's not anti-democratic. Yes, it is. Anti-democratic nationalist and expansionist ideology. Right? Which of the following inventions caused the most casualties in the World War I? Probably would be poison gas. Or would it be the tank? We could dispute that. 25. The principal Allied powers during World War II were the Allied powers were Britain, France, Russia, and the United States. Which of the following factors accounted for Hitler's aggressive foreign policy between 1935 and 1939? His desire to dominate Europe. Right? Wait, hold on. His desire to aggressive policies. Let's look at this. Would it be the Nuremberg laws? Aggressive foreign policy. Reversal of the Versailles Treaty by the League of Nations. This did not happen. Take over. Why did he? That wasn't the main thing. So I think it would still be A. 27. Mohandas Mahatma Gandhi was forced to call a hartal in 1919 because of the Rowlatt Act. Right? 28. Which of the following incidents best describes the relationship between World War I and the Indian push for independence? This is the tragedy of Armistar. Right? Right? Which of the following explains why Kwame Nkrumah broke away from the United Gold Coast Convention? Right? So the UCCG was passively demanding changes from Britain. Right? So he was radical. An important pronouncement of the 1989 speech of South African president. Right? This was the legal recognition of the ANC. The past laws, right, prohibited blacks, so it made that compulsory for them to do this. If in the last paper this was there, this should be the best part of it, right? That would really be the best answer. 32. The main purpose of the Bantu Education Act was to prepare Bantu children for traditional roles. In the 1960s, the opposition of apartheid became violent mainly because peaceful protests against apartheid were met with violence by the police. Nelson and I had risen to professional status in our community, but every case in court, every visit to the prisons to interview clients remind us of the humiliation and suffering burning into our people. The above quote was most likely said by who? Was it Walter Sisulu, Oliver Tambo, or Steve Biko? Right? Give you guys some seconds against that. So who did this with Nelson? Right? So we have to know who went to court, right? With Nelson, right, back in those times. Right? So it was actually the different persons here. It would be Mandela, it would be Sisulu, Mbeki, Motsoaledi, Mlangeni, and Goldberg. Right? Those four, right, were found. So I think here this would probably be talking about those persons were convicted though. But in this case, I think they would be talking about the persons who would follow him to court. I think it would be Oliver Tambo. Right? If it is someone else, please tell me. Right? So Steve Biko was known for his involvement in, right? Was it the CYL? Right? Black Conscious Movement, or okay, I think it would be ANCYL. 36. Which of the following countries did the international apartheid movement begin? This was Britain. The Sheffield massacre resulted mainly from South Africans' refusal to carry passes, black South Africans protesting killings by police officers, black South Africans youth protesting the education system, right? Or them protesting Mandela's incarceration. So what was the Sharpeville massacre? Right? What was the cause? Right, so Sharpeville massacre, remember it was a black township, right? So remember that they had them in different townships, right? So what was responsible for this? So they were oppressed by the past laws. So that was one of the reasons here. So let me see. So it was A. 38. Apartheid in South Africa was abolished by the legislative process by the clerk. Was it led by the clerk? Alright. So let's look at this. Nelson Mandela was referred to as a black pimpernickel because he refused to condemn Soweto. He was of his questionable involvement in the Mandela United. To be serious, he used various disguises to carry out his vehicle. So we have that there. The concept of reparation deals with compensation for exploitation, which of the following is the form of reparations for slavery and slave trade was Britain willing to use. So it was an apology for these crimes. So what I noticed that usually back here there are a lot of repeat questions. One of the main ethical reasons that was raised, I think it would be B here. Primary object of the Caribbean repertory case against Britain was for compensation, right? One assertion made by CARICOM Repertory Commission, CRC, is that European governments agree among themselves, argue that enslavement of Africans was a mutual benefit to themselves, and no. Instructed genocide, admitted the inhumanity. Alright, let's go with that. So the belief that all people shall share in the nation's wealth was reflected in the Freedom Charter. Alright, so we have that there. So remember, if there are any issues or concerns, please state them. I went a bit quick through that.